Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and tech wizard Abigail Mowat.
Hi guys, thanks for being here again.
We'll start with what have you been playing?
I have been
And make
playing...
it snappy.
See, he's so mean to me. He's so mean.
Oh, I'm just tired. Right.
That's no excuse.
It's every excuse, right?
No, it's not.
It's every
I'm
excuse.
tired.
You have to bully the people around you when you don't feel well. When you don't feel good. When you're not 100%, you bully the people around you.
That is not true. Do not listen to him.
That's what you
All
do.
of 10 viewers, please don't listen to him.
That's what you do. You go up and you go, oh, I'm so blah, 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 and you bully their ears with your nonsense.
Is this you as in general people or me in particular?
No, general people. You at least send texts, which means I don't have to hear it as well as understand it. I just read it. It's less of an assault on my delicate eardrums. At least if you cry, you just put an emoticon.
Anyway,
Whereas
so
everybody
this
else
week
like,
I have been playing GTA 3 again. Woo!
Don't say that again when I'm not wailing over the top of it.
No,
So you've been playing GTA 3 again. Woo.
I have. I've been playing GTA 3 again.
Okay.
Because the last time I was stuck on rescuing the Oriental gentleman from the Colombians. And it is Colombians. I double checked that.
Okay.
Because you were so convinced I was wrong. You're like, I don't think there are Colombians in that game. Yes, there are. Apologise to GTA 3 and apologise to me for not remembering that. I'll wait.
A long time.
Yep.
So congratulations on completing that mission.
Thank you. Yes, I basically did your suggestion of just start chucking grenades at everybody. And that didn't really work, so I just got in a car and started running them all over.
What is it with this game? You just run everything over.
Because it was taking too long and I kept dying, and so I just decided, right, in the car, and yes, the car did blow up a few times, but it was quicker. So yeah, it took me a while to actually complete that mission. Any thoughts?
I'm glad that you were able to save Mr. Gentleman.
Yes, so was I.
Mr. Oriental Gentleman.
So was I. So I cannot for the life remember
The next mission.
I've remembered the next mission now. I had to take out the head of, what was it, the...
Snake.
No. The head of a rival gang.
Mm-hmm. And what
The
type?
the Japanese gang, I think it
Yakuza.
is. Yes. So I had to take him out, and I literally just drove over him, and then I had to quickly get a new port, and I did that. So it only took me twice to actually do that mission. Pretty easy.
2 attempts.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I had to do the mission which I've just completed, which is pick up packages with a boat. And then I can't remember what mission it was after that, but I kept dying, so I was like...
Pick up packages with a boat.
Yes, I had to pick up packages with a boat. They were airdropped.
Airdropped into,
Airdropped.
I assume, a river?
Yes, a body of water.
Or was it a sea or a river?
I think it's one of those rivers that meet the sea.
Right, so it's a river then.
Well, it's that part between the two islands anyway.
Right, that's not a river, that's just...
It's a...
Well, I suppose you might call it a river if those
It is a
islands were-
river.
Well, in real life it would be a river, but
It's a port. It's called a port.
Pardon a second.
Between the two ports.
In real life that would be a river, but the point is that the islands are tiny.
Okay, so anyway. I had to pick up these packages, but it was driving me crazy because, first of all, there's 2 dots on the map. There's a pink dot and a yellow dot. Well, square, I should say. It's a square, not a dot. And I didn't know which one I was supposed to head towards. So I was kind of just like going all over the place, and then mission failed. So I had to look up, and turns out I need to go towards the pink square to get the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Which is where I thought it was going to be in a different location, but it's actually where I've always gotten a boat from. I don't know why I assumed there was going to be another boat. A special boat.
A special boat.
A special boat.
Hovercraft.
So anyway, It's a pretty easy mission to a certain point, to a certain extent. The first time I got all the packages, no problem. And then I tried to get out of the boat and drowned. I went too quickly off the boat and I just ended up in the water, which was incredibly irritating.
Can I make a suggestion about getting off of a boat in one of those games? If you don't need the boat again, beach the boat.
Yeah, but there were police helicopters after me, there were police cars.
So you panicked and threw yourself into the briny
No,
deep?
I didn't do that. So anyway, the next time, however, the packages were driving me crazy because I hate the driving mechanics for the boat in this game because I honestly don't know how realistic it is to drive a boat like that, but I don't it's because if it's really close, if it gets dropped like really close to the boat, not close enough that you can pick it up, but close enough that you can see it,
You can't turn.
you can't turn, and so you're kind of going in circles again and trying to loop round really wide, and then the mission fails. So you really do need to anticipate where this first thing's going to drop, and then just slowly follow this plane that's dropping it, like really slowly.
Yeah.
And then what I did was managed to get out of the boat, get into the car, and I chose a really fast car so I could just speed through the town really quickly. Well, speed through the city really quickly.
Yeah.
And then literally just as I was about to get to the point where I could get out and pass the mission, I flipped and I exploded. I was so angry. So I'm like, oh god, do it again. Oh, missed the package. Do it again.
Yeah, it's fiddly.
And eventually I managed to actually get to the location, but this one you've got like 4 out of 5 stars lit up for the police.
Yeah.
They've roadblocked.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, just go, floor it. It's like, go and then I drive up to the little blue circle that you have to get into to pass the mission. And I get out, but there's like loads of police around me, they're firing me. I'm trying to get into the blue circle. It's not working. I'm like, no, I don't want it. And then eventually it was like, and I just thought, mission passed, and all the stars went away and no one started shooting at me. However, all the cops were still there.
They just suddenly went, oh well, that's that then.
Yeah. So they're all still there, and I'm just like walking away,
Yeah.
hijack another car and go off and do the monotony of getting the shield from the ammo store, bulking up my life.
Ammunition, isn't it?
Ammunition. No, ammo store.
It's called ammunition.
Yeah. Don't know how pedantic we need to be.
Ammunition.
Ammo store, and then go to the hospital to get the refill on lives, go save it, and then start the next mission, which I had to get to an airport, so it means I now have access to the new island.
Did you just say restock on lives? Or did you mean refill your health?
I don't know what I said.
I think you meant refill your health.
Well, I'll find out when I listen back to this. The people know what I mean.
I doubt it.
Anyway, but I failed that, and obviously I keep reloading because I save it and reload, save it, reload.
Keep your weapons and monies and stuff. It's worth doing.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
You'll be glad to know that by GTA 5 there's checkpoints in missions.
Yeah, because you've explained this to me before, that they got rid that you had to go right back to your little hideout to save or something like that.
Yes, you can save in the save options there's a quick save that you can make. Permanent saves you still have to go back, but quick saves you don't.
Right.
And the other thing was when your car's upside down, you can tip it back.
Mm-hmm.
You can tip the car back onto its wheels even from upside down.
Yeah,
So
no, this I just kept flipping and exploding.
boats are still a nightmare. But they don't drop packages in the water right in front of you. So it's just a more ergonomic, player-friendly game. Oops, sorry, pardon me. It's a more ergonomic, player-friendly game.
You stood on a bag.
By 5.
Was it a bag? Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have fun with it at least? Did you learn anything? Did you get better? Did you feel like you're getting better?
No.
You don't feel like you're getting better?
No. It just feels more frustrating every time I do it.
Right. You feel like you're better than when you started playing the game? It definitely sounds
I think
it.
I've gotten better at remembering where stuff is. Like memorizing the map.
That's fine. That's good.
That's about it.
Well, that's good. Because I've actually noticed a dissimilarity between people that play games and people that don't in my family, which is that people that play games find it easier to memorise maps.
So you've noticed that people in your family who play games have a better memory of maps than people who don't?
Well, yeah, they can work out maps, as a gamer would call them, better, more easily.
Right.
Which is just simple navigation. So a map, in a real sense, is a road network map.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about a map, which is the player area.
Yeah.
But it's roughly the same thing, but it's slightly different. So basically guiding people down roads that you've never been down before, because you've such an array of maps in your mind now that it's logical that if you need to get from A to B, the roads will look like a certain way, so you can guide someone down or drive down a road you've never been down before because you're basically a road expert by that point. Or remembering where something was. Actually, now that I think about it, I was about to say that you can remember where something is. So if you take a left turn, right turn, right turn, left turn, left turn, right turn, right turn, you know, oh, that building was in that direction. It's just we're going to have to go through all these different roads, right?
Yeah.
But you know where you're orientated compared to the building. But then I just remembered, as I was saying, there's the only two people that play games is me and Brian. So that could just be we're better at. As a sample size, that's not big enough.
No, that's not a true scientific experiment there.
No. Also, you can't double blind it, because if you remove me, you can't double blind it because you know who the gamers are and who the gamers aren't. So it doesn't really work.
No.
But, and also you'd have to remove me, which means you've got a sample size of Brian, and I'm way better at that stuff than he is, so it would ruin it. The findings would be inconclusive. But what about when it comes to the actual game mechanics, driving, shooting, working out problems as well?
No, I don't think I've gotten any better.
Great. I would say you need
at least I don't feel like I have.
It sounds to me like you have. It really does, because you're solving problems a lot quicker. But there is also the fact that... one thing I should say to you, sorry, about GTA is it will normally give you a message at the bottom of the screen telling you what to do. And if there's any coloured markers on the map, the what they relate to will be the same colour in the text. So the boat would have been pink and the packages would have been written in yellow.
Yeah, yes.
Right. But
Now I understand.
Right. But it sounds like you're solving the puzzles a lot quicker and working out ways of doing it. It does sound a lot better, to be honest. That Yakuza boss mission you mentioned, where you just drove up and went and then drove away, that sounds like exactly what I would have done. So I think you're getting there, because the sorts of mechanics that we're talking about that you need to learn are just basically driving, map reading, problem solving.
Yeah.
You won't need to learn those basic shooting mechanics because you'll never be in a third person non-lock-on shooting environment again. They're not really that common anymore. I think you're getting better from the sounds of it.
So that's all I've been playing this week. I've been playing nothing else. What have you been playing?
We shall move on to me then.
Yes. Your favourite topic.
Always listening to the sound of my own voice, unless it's really sleepy, in which case I just want to delete it. Maybe it could be like robots and I could get a different sound box, a voice box. Have you seen Robots?
What, like...
Robin Williams.
Oh, yes,
McGregor,
Robots, the movie. Robots, yes.
Now I sound like James Earl Jones.
I love that movie. There's so many good things about that movie. And some terrible things.
Excuse me, can we just go back to me?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
So I've been playing a little bit of Halo 5. I was setting in to play a nice little game of Mythic Warzone. which is a team of you work against the AI.
Right.
With I think it's 5 rounds, and you just play certain objectives, and they constantly change.
Yeah.
So it's random. It usually works out quite nicely. They do normally get more difficult, but every now and again you do start off on round 2 or 1 where it's like, take out these banshees and nobody has a weapon that's capable of taking these things out, the big flying machines.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't take this out with a pistol and a battle rifle. I need something more powerful. This is a problem here. But Mythic's the hardest one, and it's only available on the weekends.
Can I ask why? Why is it only available on the weekends?
I think it's a special thing.
Okay.
Heroic and Legendary are available during the week, and they just put in Mythic for the weekend. Like, here's a real challenge for you when you've got your time off work.
Okay. So is Mythic Warzone a part of Halo 5?
Just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Abigail attempting to read. Right.
1. Dyslexia. 2. Scoptic sensitivity. I can't read off white paper.
I'm the one that asked you to print it, and you've printed it on white paper.
I've only got white paper.
Well, you racist. Here's that. They don't have white ink. It wouldn't even be possible to print off of black paper because they don't have white ink.
Yeah, but there's no need for it.
Why? Well, of course there is, because you can't read off white paper, so it'd be easier. Would it be easier if you're reading white off black paper, or would it have to be
I've never tried white. I've never tried white off black paper, but I've got blue glasses. So in college they used to print it off on colour paper.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I don't know. I've never tried the other way around.
Because I don't think you can, because I don't think they make white ink. And we've completely gone off the point here.
No. Well, there's no point for white ink, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because what they do is they just leave it blank.
No, I understand. I understand.
Art.
I took a printer apart, but I've taken much bigger things than a printer apart. But yeah, do you know how a printer works with the ionization?
I don't know how it works. I don't really want to know how a printer works, to be perfectly honest. As long as it prints it off, I don't really care.
Okay. So you were asking a question. I got a kill-tacular, by the way, while playing an infection game. So
is Mythic Warzone part of Halo 5, or is that a completely different game? Or is it like set in the same world?
She doesn't care. Mythic Warzone is set in the same world, it's just a game type that's in it.
So is it like a mini game? I don't really understand.
No, it's it. You know in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 that just came out, I was telling you about this before, it's got multiplayer, and it's got zombies, and it's got Blackout, it was called.
Right.
So one's Battle Royale, one's player versus player multiplayer in a standard setting, and the other one is the players work together to fight off the zombies.
Right.
Well, in this, it's a sort of multiplayer type game. It's just you work as a multiplayer team against the computer, basically. A Warzone firefight, to be more specific. Warzone by itself, you fight the computer and a team of other humans.
Right.
Real people. It's part of the main game, but it's just a different game type. So you can get competitive multiplayer, cooperative/competitive multiplayer, and you got single player.
I think I understand it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just different game modes.
Okay.
So
sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's fine. Mythic Warzone is the difficulty. With Mythic Warzone Firefight, Mythic is the difficulty. During every day of the week, you've got Heroic and Legendary.
Right.
And then Mythic is only available at the weekends. I think it's the sort of, you were asking about this before, I think it's the sort of...
like special thing that they have.
Yeah, it's sort of like, here's the weekend, really test yourself.
Yeah. And sorry for anybody that works the weekends.
Yeah. I've also noticed a new game in the Warzone subclass of game in the Warzone genre, which is Warzone Warlords. I can't play it because you have to have a fire team. That's a group of human players working together.
Yes.
Of at least 6.
Yes.
And I think you fight against other groups of 6 players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because in the game there was very little for you to do if you had six players. But our friend count, the group of people we know that play the game, only goes to 5.
So you need more people. You need more friends.
So we literally can't play it because we don't have enough chums. There's normally only 4 of us, but we do occasionally get a 5th, but we never get a 6th. So.
Oh, so sad. So sad. You're just wanting me to get it. Is this why you were saying the other day, oh, I wish you really, really wish you had an Xbox?
Well, no, it's just that all the things I really want to do are 6 players at the minute. Like, I really want to try that, but I also...
So it's not that I want to play with you, it's because I need people.
No.
You're cannon fodder for this mission.
No, because I want to do the Destiny raids. You need 6 for those, and there's no way that you can die 100 times on a Destiny raid. You'd screw it up.
I will try.
No, you can't. What would happen is that you can respawn the other players, but in the Destiny raids, respawn is limited. So you'd have to be good enough to survive. So I'm not looking for cannon fodder. I'm looking for somebody that can play. But also, I was just particularly bored that day and fancied playing something with you. But you can't, because you've not got anything.
No, I don't.
So I thought to myself, right, I'll have a nice wee game of Mythic Warzone Firefight, right? I never win these. I think I've won like 2 or 3 out of 50 attempts. They're incredibly difficult. We always fail in the last round. I thought, right, okay, let's just have a wee go. They're quite fun. You get a lot of experience points in RP for trying them. Let's just keep my skills up. So during a round in which we had to defend an area, you'll see this because I'll put the video up on over this part. In the bottom right hand corner it just says defend, and below that is a timer. We had to defend the area for that length of time or kill a certain number of enemies. And the area on this particular map was a big temple area.
Right.
And I was on these sort of like alcoves at the top, shooting down on some aliens that were coming in, when a grenade went off near me and I jumped out of its way. And what you'll see is me magically being thrown and picked up and tossed around the map. This template just all over the place. There's no way I was in control of this.
Yeah.
After this grenade went off, it was like I was possessed. It just I think I went in like this weird juddery U shape, which you can't do in the game unless it's up and then down. So I had this weird sort of, really weird juttery sort of, whoa, that's a weird hand signal, anyway, moving around the map. It was insane. But as soon as it happened, I sort of stopped and went, looked to the right, looked to the left. I did this in the game. I was like, what the heck? Alright, and then the round ended, so I was able to just get on with my life. But what I noticed about it as well was the fact that when I did it and then recorded it, I didn't turn and look in real life and go, what was that? I turned in the game and went, what was that? You know how when you get confused at something, you look around you and go, what went on there? I did it in the game. And I've got another story to tell similar to this one, where you'll see it as well. I turn the camera rather than my own human head.
I think you need to stop playing games for a little while there.
I haven't been playing them for a while. I haven't. I had fun there. We failed round 5 again.
Oh, poor you.
Well, it happens all the time. But I also played some more of the crew, and I've come to some more conclusions about it.
Which is?
I've got them written down here. I have some things to say about the crew. The handling of the cars is weird.
That is my proclamation for today.
Hear ye, hear ye. Handling is totes weird.
Why is it weird?
So this is what happens. It might just be the parts on my car. I don't know. It happens more with the higher speed cars, but I've noticed that the first 10% of the stick motion is nothing. The next 10% is 5%. The next 10% is 50%. The next 10% is like 20%. And then the rest of it is dead space. So instead of your steering being if you slowly push the stick to the right, you should slowly turn to the right.
Yes.
Nah. You just suddenly go, whoop, hey, hello, whoa, hey, yeah, whoa. You know, like you've got 8 different steering
Yes.
severities instead of a slow analog movement. It's just hit, what, wait. And it's just a nightmare to control. It's far easier in the cockpit view, where the steering actually works better.
Right.
It's far more gradiated, but it punishes you for being in that camera view because, as I said, it works differently. So if you've done other camera views, it's harder to get into it. Also, your perspective on the world means that if there's any sunlight coming at your car, which there was in the mission I was doing, you're blinded. And secondly, you find it very, very, very difficult to see the corners sometimes, or to see the road to see cars coming at you from far away because they just suddenly, oh, is that a set of headlights? Wham! I'm dead. Especially the turning. If you cannot see the road, you can't do it. The map down the bottom makes it's the wrong sizes. Your cursor is far too big, so you get lost a bit. And the sat nav whip around thing, it has a blue line on the minimap telling you where to go, but it also has a blue line in real life above your head, right?
Okay.
And that thing is like a snake. It's organic. It whips around. So instead of it being a hard left or right turn, if it's a 90-degree turn, it does a bend, sort of like a racing line.
Yeah.
But this racing line keeps doing this and moving around. So you can't tell when you're supposed to turn. You really don't, and it's also in the air, not on the ground, so you can't see where the road is.
That sounds very confusing.
I had to do one race about 50 times, and it should have been one of the best races I'd ever been in, and it was terrible because I just could not see where I was going, or magically there was always a car in the way. The number of times I went over this blind dip, and you have to go full throttle, otherwise you lose the race, and ploughed into a car. There's nothing you can do about it. You would avoid it in any other camera angle, but you're screwed essentially in cockpit view, and that's the only way I do driving games. So I just found that weird that they do that. Good thing about it is that at level 50 for the player character, you unlock platinum medals. So you do story missions and skill missions and all the rest of it, and you get a medal rating, and that gives you a car part quality. So I had been wondering how you get platinums, but I didn't look it up because I wanted to find. I thought maybe you finish the story missions. So it seems to be the idea is that if you just plough through the story missions and get to the end of the story, you'll unlock level 50 later, and that will encourage you to go back and finish the missions off. Right. So I did 2 missions at level 50 where I got platinum, and I unlocked level 51, right? And then an achievement popped up at the bottom. You have done this dirt race, and you have now got a platinum grade. So you have here's some points. I thought that was a dirt race. I thought that was a raid race. Because dirt is like dirt track and raid is total off-road. Yeah. So I thought that's a bit weird. But maybe I got it wrong. It said, here you have just got a platinum medal for doing a street race. Here is your points. So, no, I definitely just did a performance race, not a street race. That doesn't make sense. And it popped up another one. Here, you have just got a platinum medal in a performance race. Because these are the different sort of loadouts for your car, essentially. Yes. And, wait a minute, that's weird. I've only done 2 races. How have I got 3? I thought maybe it bugged. But I went and checked, and it turns out it didn't. What happens was, and I noticed this on the map when I went to go and find my next mission, it retrospectively re-awards you the medals if when you did them without platinum being available, you got enough points for a platinum medal. It gives you it afterwards. So say, for example, you need 14,000 points for gold, 16,000 for platinum. Yes. But you haven't unlocked platinum yet. Yeah. When it comes to the level ranking. If you get 16,500, you'll be given gold. Right. But when platinum unlocks, they'll retrospectively change it to a platinum so you don't have to redo the race. That was really, really considerate. That was a good piece of sort of player management or player ergonomics, that you don't have to repeat races that you've clearly mastered. Yeah. Because that's what the platinum medals are there for. You probably need a car of a certain capacity to be able to do a lot of them, because I don't seem to have... No, I've got platinum on all of them then. I was just going through the unlocks in my head. I must have one on all of them. However, the rest... It's like let me think. No, I am that good. I've got platinum and everything. Well done, me. But yes, it's rubbish. Because the rest of what I've got to say is bad. The Crew 2 apparently doesn't fix the driving issues, as in the driving is roughly the same, the driving, handling, mechanics, how it feels, what it's like to do.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, it's just too squirrely. Like, it's not even squirrely. It's just not, it's too sort of floppy. It doesn't work quite right. So saying this to somebody that every single automobile or mode of transportation, if you go around a corner too fast, has its own particular way of skidding out, right?
Yes.
Its own particular way of that. If you go around a corner too fast on a horse, it falls over. You know, there's all sorts of stuff like that. There's
I just imagine and then just like decides to fall onto its side.
Yeah, everything has its own way.
It's like those goats that get scared and they faint. That's what I was imagining.
I don't think they faint. I think they fake. But
you know what I mean. Like
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Hopefully they're not mountain goats.
Whee! No, they're like little tiny goats. So they just scare them and then just go like really rigid and they just fall over.
Tonic immobility.
What?
It's called tonic immobility. It's where animals deal with predatory attacks or engagements by pretending to be dead.
I didn't even know it had a name.
Yes.
Like a scientific name.
Yeah. It's not fear, it's a physical response. It's how they've evolved to survive. As I was saying, all the modes of transport, when you go around the corner too fast, they have their own way of complaining about it and not being able to handle it. And for some reason, when you go around a corner too fast in the Crew, it doesn't feel like a car skidding or spinning out. It feels like you suddenly turn into a hovercraft and you just slip and slide across the road. It's like somebody's Vaseline the road when you got there. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Further bad news, the cops make no sense at all. They just seem to be magically faster than you no matter how fast you're going, until you suddenly are faster than them for no reason. You'd like to go around corners to lose them, but you lose so much speed because of all the weird floatiness around the corners with suddenly becoming a hovercraft. They are able to arrest you while you're travelling at 60 miles an hour, which makes no sense whatsoever. The helicopters constantly complain across the radio of running out of fuel or having physical damage, so they're going to have to land soon, but they never do. And they just beam in all over the place. You'll be driving down a road and 3 of them will just appear right in front of you. It's like being in GTA Vice City or something like that. It's pathetic for a game. It was made in 2013. It shouldn't be cop cars beaming in right in front of you like this. It's absolutely terrible. It's arcade style nonsense. And for further grievance in that avenue is that all cop and multiplayer engagements are broken and a total disgrace, because the multiplayer engagements are the same as the cop engagements. Everybody's beaming around all over the place because of the amount of lag. It's incredible. It's like you're having a race inside a nightclub with one of those weird light filter things.
Yeah.
You know, where it's on off really fast, and everybody
strobe lighting.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking of. It's like that. It's like a strobe lighting race because you just can't. They just go. Oh, I got arrested by what? This cop car has way too much sugar because it's going. It's insane. So it is annoying me now, the Crew. I really want to see what happens in the story because I think it might be funnily bad, but it's just annoying me now when it comes to some of the driving mechanics, because if you've got a driving game, you've got to get down the driving mechanics, and everybody right now is raving about how incredible Forza Horizon 4 is. But look at the competition. Burnout, no. The Crew, no. Need for Speed, no. There's no competition. So it annoys me when the Crew is this annoyingly bad, especially when they manage to get in Troy Baker. So I'll just finish by telling these stories, these little stories that I have. So first one, I was doing a mission in which I had to drive along a partially constructed road, while the person I was chasing was driving along the actual road that was fully constructed, and that road was alongside mine. Mine's was very weavy, you know, going up and around and all that jazz. There are jumps along the partially constructed road where you jump over the road the other person's driving on. Because you sort of double helix weave across it and around it. And during one of these jumps, I somehow managed to land on the cement barrier at the side of the road on the other side of the jump and got completely stuck floating in midair. My car, you'll see it when I land, I immediately go to 0 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then I sort of sit there, and like I was mentioning with Halo, I looked around myself in the game. I did the same thing. I went, what? What's happening here? Look right, look left. What's going on? So then I backed into a different camera angle.
Yeah.
And that was when I saw that I was stuck on the barrier and flying. I mean, there's no way I shouldn't have fallen off because I'm not even like perfectly balanced. It's clearly bugged.
Yeah.
Because I'm totally back heavy.
I hate it. It's hilarious when bugs like that happen, but it's also infuriating if you don't know how to fix it. Because a lot of the time...
I just restarted the mission.
Yeah. But I know how infuriating that is, because I remember playing The Sims, and The Sims would just start flying, and they're just like hovering in the air. I'm like, how do I fix this? And I don't know how I fixed it, but I had to like take them out of the game, put them back in the game. It was annoying. So I can understand that.
It would be different in a game which doesn't have obvious sort of checkpoints or missions that you could even restart if you had to. But yeah, in this case I just restarted the mission, but I didn't. I got some footage and a couple of pictures first because my car is just floating and it doesn't make any sense at all. There's also another story. You'll see this at the start of this video. When you drive, sometimes you'll hit things which just aren't really there, but you're going so fast the game decides you've had a major crash. And I was driving down a tunnel, and I exit the tunnel, scraping along the side wall, and then I suddenly go into crash mode and my car bursts into a billion different pieces, right? You'll see this at the start of the video. But I then continued driving down that snowy road, right?
Right.
And as I might skip a bit here depending on how long it takes me to explain it, but as I was going down this snowy road, I had another collision with a different car.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a big SUV, sort of like family thing that you'd see in America. And I smashed into this car, doing a great deal of number of miles per hour. And then it activated the crash cam again, which I promptly skipped. So I was able to start driving very soon after the crash. But the car I hit was still driving.
Yeah.
Sorry, the car I hit was still crashing. So as I drove off, I watched this 4-door family SUV car go off the side of the motorway and plunge into the snowy abyss below and just disappear from sight. You can just imagine the family screaming in the back seats as they plunge to their deaths. Do
you imagine that every time you see something crash, you imagine a family dying on the inside?
But that's what... I thought it was weird that I was able to skip the crash, but it still had the car that I hit having a crash as well. So that car is still going through a crash, but I've already restarted driving and driven off. It's like your typical... It's like your sort of hit and run. But I thought it was so weird that car wouldn't disappear. How have they managed to do that where that car doesn't disappear? It's actually a positive for it because sometimes it can be pretty funny when that car goes bouncing across the road.
So you find that weird. I find it weird that you're imagining families dying in these cars as they're crashing. I find that to be more weird than a car that's not disappearing.
You need to play more video games. There's something wrong with you, Hen.
There's something wrong with me?
Yeah.
I think we've been through this before.
Definitely something wrong with you. But yeah, so that's a nice little fun time story. But the crew, you have got
about you imagining families dying tragically in SUVs.
Yes, you've got to try and see the funny side with the crew because it's not going to keep you entertained if you just play it straight. That's all the stories I have. We're going to move on to the news now.
Yes, some much interesting news.
Now for the news. With your host.
So, I see that the first news item is about Red Dead Redemption 2. What do you have to say about that?
It's not actually about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Literally the first 3 words / 1 number is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes, but it's not about Red Dead Redemption 2.
And what's it about?
It's come under fire because of an interview with Dan Houser in which he said we were working 100-hour weeks. He was talking about the development cycle for Red Dead Redemption 2. He later clarified that they had been working on the game for 7 years and the 4-man senior writing team who have been together for years are the ones that choose to work that way for the last 3 weeks when they're in the final wrap-up stages of development cycle. Yeah. They said it works better for them. No one has asked he says that no one is asked or forced to work like this. All these people choose to work that way because it suits them.
So people were condemning him for making because they thought he was making his employees
No, he's
work.
an employee. They were condemning the company, Rockstar.
Right, okay.
And they were saying they're not going to buy Red Dead Redemption 2, which is why it's under fire. So, this sort of accusation of mismanagement, where people are forced to work ridiculous hours, it gets bandied around quite a bit by game developers, because everybody thinks and works differently. But here's a quote from a current CD Projekt Red developer regarding the issue. Do you think that SpaceX employees always work 8 hours per day, have no stress at work, never have to push themselves to the limits and are always happy and undisturbed? Do you think every single employee believes in all Elon Musk's decisions and competences? Now, does anyone seriously believe that what SpaceX does is easily achievable with no stress, no crunch, no conflicts, and no sacrifices from anyone but Elon himself? Are you worried that SpaceX will fail because one or two engineers left unsatisfied? What I want to say is that CD Projekt Red made me feel like I launched a space rocket. If I wanted to drive a tricycle, I would apply to kindergarten instead. What he's trying to suggest is that there are points where if you're trying to create something, you've got to push a bit further.
Yeah.
But that the people who sign up to do that, sign up to do that.
Yeah, it's voluntary. It's not, you're going to have to now work an extra 5 hours.
If you choose to take that job, it's because you care about the product, you care about the creation, so you're going to put that, you want to put that time in.
Yes.
It would be, I think what he's trying to say would be like putting an hour limit on how long you can spend with your kids. Other stories are surfacing that Rockstar do this during crunch times, like the period just before release when they're wrapping everything up.
Yes, yeah.
Which would be understandable, but that crunch times sometimes last up to a year, which doesn't make any sense and isn't understandable or acceptable, with punishments for developers that will not work overtime. So that's unacceptable. You can't have people working ridiculous 80, 100-hour weeks.
Yeah, because
it's just inhuman. Game developers also, one of the reasons they complain about this a lot, understandably, is that they also have limited employment opportunities because there aren't game developer companies in every country in the world, in every area of the country.
No.
They're very limited. There might be worldwide, but you'd still have to move. So if you wanted to move from Rockstar or say Bethesda, if you wanted to move from one of their companies, you might end up having to go to Canada instead of a different state in America.
Because this is what happened with Telltale. There were people that had to move states to be able to work with them, and then...
Yeah, there was one guy that moved to take up a job at Telltale, and then within that week, they'd shut down and fired him. So, I mean, it's not the same as working almost anywhere else. I think what we need to do is look at this and compare it to what happened at Telltale Games and Obsidian Entertainment. I think that the difference here is that the previous ones were mismanaged. You know, people weren't being paid, jobs weren't being done on time, people were told to work ridiculous hours, you know, that sort of thing. Like Obsidian deferring payments and then not deferring wage payments, and then when the company was on better footing, refusing to repay what had been deferred.
Yeah.
You know, that's utterly unacceptable. But getting stuck in a rut where people are working massive weeks during crunch times and then you start to misattribute what a crunch time is, that has to be fixed because it's toxic. But the cause of it isn't toxicity, it's that they care about what they're creating. Yeah,
they're wanting to put as much effort in as possible voluntarily, not somebody telling them that they have to do that.
I'm not talking about volunteering. People can do whatever they want. I'm talking about the people who are forced to or they'll be fired.
Oh, right.
That's unacceptable.
Yes.
That's toxic.
Yes.
That has to go.
That's what I mean. Sorry, I'm agreeing with you.
No, I'm not. Well, you were talking about the volunteers. They can do whatever they want. I'm talking about people who are forced to do it. But you've also got the point that when it does come to crunch time and you are creating something, you can't do that on a 9 to 5. You can't make something on a 9 to 5. It doesn't work like that. The creation process, development process, it just doesn't work like that no matter what you're doing. But forcing them to work overtime when crunch time's not there doesn't make any sense. I can see why you might need a bit of flexibility to say to your staff, we really need more out of you because it's crunch time. But it should be paid overtime, quite well reimbursed, and it shouldn't be for more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be for a year, because there were people saying they had to go off, they had a breakdown because they were working so many hours.
Jeez.
But there are other people who were saying they were working 100 hours and they were absolutely fine with it.
I think it just depends on the individual's mentality and physical ability.
It's not just that. I think it also depends on the way you work, but also how long for. Because the people who were saying they were working 100 hours a week were doing that. They were doing a certain type of job for a certain length of time. Like the writers do it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Not a year. You know? And then you've got the fact that if you try to take a day off, you'll get fired. You know?
Yeah.
It's just too much. That's toxic. That's bad.
Indeed, yes.
But I think it has come from a place where they were just trying to make the best product they could. Whereas the other two companies were coming from a place where the management didn't have a clue what they were doing. That's why I think this is a different scenario, because that's fixable from Red Dead Redemption, from Rockstar, sorry. They can fix that.
Yeah.
They can alter some of the way they do their business, and that can be salvaged. Whereas Telltale Games and Obsidian aren't fixable because the management was so bad, they just weren't financially viable. So I think it's a different kettle of fish here. It's something that needs to be fixed, but it's an improvement. I wouldn't say it's a... That doesn't show that Rockstar aren't... Nothing about that story makes me think Rockstar have to go or are going to go or anything like that. It just makes me think that they need to find a new way of
doing
some
job,
things. Yeah. Like the crunch time cannot last more than a month.
No.
Like, it can't be a year. But it does sound like these stories, while common to a degree, as in there's a couple of people every year, with hundreds of employee turnover in the past decade, that's not too bad.
No.
You're also going to have people who just have bad experiences just because, basically. There'll be a reason for it, but that might not have anything to do with what Rockstar specifically have done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something they need to work on, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily that bad. It wouldn't stop me buying the game. It wouldn't stop me thinking highly of Rockstar. I think it's just something that... You've also got to think as well that these stories are in America a lot, They have no employment protections, so what do you expect? That's not a Rockstar way of working. That's an American way of managing your employees. Employee protection in America is a joke. Compared to Europe, it's a complete joke. Like women, you've heard of this, women who have children, they will have to sometimes go straight in the next day.
Oh, I've never heard that.
There was a story about a woman who was so worried about losing her job, she had to leave the hospital the day of the birth to go back to work.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. We had a national investigation, remember, over what happened at Sports Direct. Do you remember they were accused of having slave conditions where a woman gave birth in the toilet?
No, I didn't hear that.
That was it was a parliamentary inquest into those actions, massive police investigations. In America, that's normal for a mother to have to go straight back to work. So it's a completely different kettle of fish. It's difficult for me to compare it. Because you hear a horror story, which then turns out to be the way you're expected to work in America. It's difficult.
No, I think you're right. If this is an American thing, yeah, I've heard of, sometimes people sleeping in offices and things like that just to get work done.
Yeah.
It's a completely different line. And then you hear stories where the way we work is completely different to some other European countries. They seem to have an even healthier relationship with work and private life.
The United Kingdom is absolutely terrible, and it's better than America.
Yeah. That's shocking though, giving birth and then having to go straight back to work the next day. Oof.
There's no mandatory protected maternity leave.
It's probably even worse now.
I think that this is something that needs to be fixed, but it's not as bad or as toxic or as just stupid as Telltale Games or Obsidian Entertainment. They need to become more European, but they still function as a business.
Yes.
Next piece of news.
Is it about Bethesda or KotOR?
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Are soon to release Fallout 76, but details have been revealed which relate to Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. The next games they're working on, Elder Scrolls 6 is the sequel to Skyrim.
Right.
The next Elder Scrolls game. And Starfield is a new single-player space RPG experience. Yeah. In an interview, Pete Hines gave some details regarding the release dates of these games. He was heavily suggesting that they will be released within standard Bethesda release cycles, which is 4 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you take into account the previous release cycles, which are about 4 to 5 years, that means that these games might come out earliest 2022 for Starfield and 2026 for the Elder Scrolls 6.
Right.
Now, to put that into context, the Elder Scrolls 5 came out in 2013.
Okay.
Actually, no, I think it came out in 2011.
Right.
Do you want to look that up? I think it was 2011. I don't know. Do you know, somebody in a video I was watching said that it was 2013. I'm sure it was 2011.
So what's the full name of the game?
Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, but Skyrim will do.
Skyrim 5, did you say?
Yeah. Skyrim. There it is. No, just Skyrim. Yep, 11th of November 2011.
Well done.
Okay.
Did you actually guess that, or have I just said well done for nothing?
What?
Did you say that that's when it was released? Was that the date you gave and then we looked it up?
Yeah, 2011.
Okay.
Because I remember having a conversation with my friends while I was at uni. I'm doing my undergraduate, and by 2013 I was done that, so it must have been earlier. So that means 15 years between two Elder Scrolls games.
Right.
That gives you plenty of time to play it. Now, when you take into account the upregulation of developer numbers and subsidiary studios that are being opened up and activated by Bethesda and purchased as well, compared to the 100 plus employees they had for Skyrim when they developed it, that's a number I got from a unreliable source. That source said 2013 release date. Suggests that these games are going to have a lot of work and man hours put into them. So there's going to be an awful lot more employees doing an awful lot more work. It suggests possibly as well that Skyrim took a lot longer than 4 to 5 years to be developed. And also Bethesda make Fallout games, so when's the next Fallout going to be released if that's the release cycle? It's just weird. It's weird and interesting and strange.
I will take your word for it.
But while it's disappointing that it's going to take a long time, it's really nice to see a game development company actually bothering to do it properly.
Right.
You know, Rockstar, Bethesda, CD Projekt Red are obviously my favourites. CD Projekt Red. But the fact that they're willing to not release a game every 5 minutes and that they are going to put proper amounts of man hours into something, it's just a nice antithesis to COD and FIFA.
I can understand how you appreciate it when somebody takes their time and effort to actually make something that's going to be worthwhile to play, because I can understand that from, being a television and film buff. I appreciate it when people take a lot of time to really make a good product, because there's no point in rushing something if it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Like I hate it when people just want to make something to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, if you, like, the film Frozen, there's a scene where you can see her ponytail go through her shoulder, and you're like, right, okay, obviously there was a tight deadline and we ran out of time towards the end here, okay.
Yeah, what about Castlevania? Did you watch the first season of that?
I have, but it's been a while since I watched it. Was it released last year or the year before?
Yeah, it was last year, I think.
Yeah.
And it's coming out in a few days' time for season 2.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
But it was 4 episodes for the first series, and I had watched them all before I found that out. one night I sat down to watch this and I thought, oh wait, it's a series, it'll be at least 10.
Yeah, and it was
4.
only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. I just was like, oh, okay. And then who's the main guy in it who plays, not the guy who plays Dracula, but the guy, is it Richard Armitage that plays?
He plays Belmont.
Yeah.
Are you a Belmont? Oh, crackers.
He did not say crackers in the show. I would like to mention that.
No, we had to redo that because my pure quote would have been indelicate.
Would have been hurtful
ears.
to little ears. Must protect the little ears, the little innocent ears.
They've probably got bigger ears than you. Everybody listening is part of my family. They've got massive ears. They're the size of my ears. That's not a euphemism.
Not big.
What about now?
Still not big.
No. Well, that's my ego shattered. It's better not be a euphemism. Yeah, so that's the sort of thing. But also I think you'd appreciate it because your gaming library is full of terrible games.
Don't hate on my little game library. My Rugrats Search for Reptar.
Sabrina. Your face just completely changed there.
No, that is a game that I want you to play it because I want to see you drive you crazy, but I will never play that game again.
Okay.
It is so horrible.
But you're right, it is nice to see. And it'll be nice because we'll have to run through the COD games at some point and compare them to games where they've actually taken it seriously. Same with Assassin's Creed games.
I want to play South Park Stick of Truth. You have the game. Let me play the game.
You've played it?
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never played South Park.
Well, no way in hell we're playing it off camera. We're playing that on camera. Because it's one of the few
I've seen gameplay footage of it, but I've never played it.
Look, we're definitely swearing when we play that. It'd be a nice... I'll be able
We're
to let
free
it all
for
out.
you.
Yeah. Oh, all this being nice. But yes, I could agree. It's nice to see people who are creating something realise they're creating something, especially when we've been filled with EA.
Right.
But the next story relates to EA in some way.
I was literally just about to say, let's move on.
I attack EA.
Why have you attacked EA?
Well,
again?
I attack them later on in the story. So we shall start from the beginning. KotOR Apeiron. Apeiron's Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
Do you remember I was saying it's that mod for Knights of the Old
That's
Republic?
the fans have made.
Yeah, Poem Studios.
Right.
Has been shut down.
Oh no.
It's officially cancelled.
No, you were so happy.
What's the point?
Oh, Tommy, I'm sorry.
Poem Studios tweeted some words. I don't care.
Do you want me to read it? I will try and read it with my
Okay,
with my little
this
dyslexic
might cheer
brain.
me up. On you go.
Is it this part, is it?
Yes.
Okay. It's with great sadness that I'm posting today. I recently received a letter from Lucasfilms instructing Poem to end production on Apeiron. After a few days, I've exhausted my options to keep it afloat. We knew this day was a possibility. I'm so sorry, and may the Force be with you. I didn't stumble once. Did I?
No, well done.
Yay!
How old are you? Like 7 or something?
My English language is about 7 years old.
So this is a legal issue because of the fact that the game is owned by Lucasfilm. We previously spoke about when James was here, he said that EA would shut it down. And it was a little while after that I realised that EA have nothing to do with it.
It's just
Lucasfilm.
Lucasfilm.
It's an already released game, which means it's still under the purview of the original owner.
Right.
It's nothing to do with EA who are releasing all current games.
So it's Disney you need to take this...
No, Lucasfilm.
Yeah, Disney
Yeah,
bought
but it's
Lucasfilm.
specifically Lucasfilm that did this. Poem Studios claimed that it was a mod of an existing game, therefore there was no conflict, but it turns out that there is. Remaking old games is a grey area when it comes to mods and the license rights. And this time it has been shut down. In most cases it is shut down. And what's really just absolutely heartbreaking about this is that the license for KotOR will just sit there and collect dust after all this work done by the original creators and by Poem Studios. And there's so much more that they could do with it. I've heard this suggestion before, they could have just helped them make it and then sold more copies of the game. Remaster it and sell it as a fully remastered version with extra content added in, and you will sell millions of units for a tiny amount of price because half the work's already done by this crew who did it for free.
Yeah.
It's such an easy way of making some money and using the license and creating something fantastic, and I don't know why they won't. I don't understand that. With fan remakes, that's always the case, really. They just shut it down and tell everybody to go away and pretend it never happened. And it's especially difficult with respect to Star Wars because we're currently going through a complete drought of Star Wars games. Right, EA have had the license. EA are halfway through their license, and it's been a terrible decision for game numbers and for quality because halfway through their license, they have released 2 games that were absolutely terrible and have left a trail of game corpses in their wake.
Can I ask a quick question? Have EA always held the rights to the Star Wars games, or other companies?
No, when Disney bought Star Wars, they sold the rights to EA.
Right, who was making it before that?
Whoever.
Okay.
LucasArts were in Lucasfilm were involved in it.
Right.
Because they owned the licensing rights.
Mm-hmm.
But they worked with the companies to make games.
Okay.
So there was loads of companies that made games. Before EA bought it, there was a plethora of games all over the place, of all different shapes and sizes, right? So far we've had 2 terrible Battlefront games and that's it. They've killed off everything else. Hopefully we can see more made when EA's license expires and when Respawn game is released. The studio Respawn are making a Star Wars game that's supposed to be single player. I'm really hoping that's good. And maybe if it is good, it will show Disney that selling EA that license is a terrible idea. Because they're destroying the Star Wars game license. They've got to... The reason I like Star Wars is because of games like KotOR. So I'm gutted that this mod isn't coming out.
Yeah.
But I'm furious that Disney bought the rights and then gave it to the one company you should never give something to if you're trying to nurture it. Just stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
Now my heart goes out for you and all the other lovers of KotOR, and we're really wanting this.
It's just...
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
First piece of game footage I ever recorded was KotOR. I played it on an old TV that had a combo VCR, so just recorded what I was playing.
Were you able to do that with a VCR? You were able to... Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
4 hours of me playing the start of KotOR. It's just so really annoying that this stuff happened. Who are the idiots at the top of the tree making all the decisions based on the numbers? Well, you clearly don't know your target market if you're doing that. We could sell a total of 7 million units. No, this is KotOR. You're more likely to sell 70. Even the Master Chief Collection was a disaster, right? But that was for different reasons, because they were trying to combine so many different games. It was a software shambles, right? It was a mishmash. It was falling apart. But they had this thing in it, where if you pressed a button, it changed the graphical quality from upgraded to the original.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done that in this. Bing, that's what the game used to look like. Bing, that's what the game does look like. Or if you want, you open it up into other areas, build the whole thing, change all the game mechanics, whatever it is you want to do, and then have the 2 types of graphics overlaid. It wouldn't have been that difficult. The original graphics were kind of rubbish compared to what we have nowadays. Yeah. So just have that, and you go, bing, oh, I remember this, oh, that's getting me wee heartstrings going, oh, it's nostalgic. Bing, ooh, that's cool. You know, it's just so many possibilities for stuff like this. It's not like it would have gone... With so few Star Wars games coming out, if they'd released that as a full remaster with a new release, that would have been snapped up. They'd gone close to running out of digital copies, and that's impossible. Just infuriating.
So that's a really somber note to end on for you and everybody that loves KotOR. Very sorry about that.
Yeah.
Poor you.
God.
So thank you so much for listening to us today while Tommy goes and cries in a corner. I'd like to thank Tommy for bearing his soul today. We'd love it if you could like and subscribe to our channel. And if you'd like to leave a comment down below, that would be much appreciated. That would make Tommy happy. If you leave a comment, that'll make him so happy. Tommy, do you have the will to say how you can follow us and where we are on Facebook?
Oh, that was something out of the courage. So, you can like and subscribe below.
I just said that.
Shut up! I'm delicate right now. Very delicate.
There. It'll get better. Castlevania, the new series is coming out soon. Will that make you happy?
No. I want a toffee apple.
I can make you some.
Go away.
I'll make you some for Halloween.
No, I don't like Halloween.
You like toffee apples?
No, I don't. I made that up.
Oh.
I think it's stuck in your teeth. It's monkey. You can like and subscribe below.
I've said that.
Shut up. And you can follow us on Facebook at OverShadow.ShadowCast, and you can email us at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com. Oh, I can't do it anymore. It's too much.
So thank you so much for being with us today and consoling my friend here. Before he starts screaming, I'm going to end the podcast. So thank you so much and goodbye.
Bye.